Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'd. Ahabati fillah. Taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala earns the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala earns the pleasure of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And this seems like a common sense or a principle based upon common sense. It doesn't seem like that should be anything that is strange or mysterious or controversial. But even between Ahl Sunnah and Ahl Bid'ah, in this concept, there's difference. Why do I say that? Because you have many so-called Muslim modernists or progressives, they call themselves, and they believe that to fear God, to have taqwa, is actually something which is a negative thing. That you should only have love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you shouldn't actually fear him. But Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah bases their creed, their methodology, their belief system, everything based upon the book and the Sunnah. They base everything based upon the book and the Sunnah. So for Ahl Sunnah, they believe in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says fi Kitab al-Kareem about the concept of taqwa. And what the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in his authentic sunnah about taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says fi Kitab al-Kareem, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. O you who believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the believers here. So that distinguishes Ahl Iman from Ahl Kufr, Ahl Iman from Ahl Ilhad, Ahl Iman from Ahl Zandaqa, the heretics, and in fact the secularists, and even the concepts of these progressive so-called Muslims. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the believers who believe in those ayah. The believers believe in that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, fear Allah, his rightful, the full level of having taqwa, of fearing him. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, and do not die except in a state of belief, letting us know that the opposite of belief is not to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to have that taqwa. There's a reason Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala is mentioning that in the same verse, letting us know that taqwa is from Iman. And taqwa ahabati fillah, as we've mentioned countless times, that the ulama sunnah have mentioned and defined taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as to adhere to the commandments of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala and avoid his prohibitions. To adhere to the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fear and avoid his prohibitions. That's taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's amazing that someone who reads the Quran, even if they don't make ta'zeem of the Sunnah, and even if they believe that they're progressive and they've reached another level of understanding and insight and love of Allah that we haven't reached, or that the Salaf as-Salih didn't reach, this is what they believe, or that minhaj and that methodology should be discarded. These people believe they've reached another level, but they're going directly against the book and the Sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fi Kitab al-Kareem, قُلْ أَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكَ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا عِندَ رَبِّهِمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا وَأَزْوَاجٍ مُطَهَّرَةٍ وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fi Kitab al-Kareem, Should I tell you about what is better than the delights and the joys of this life that will soon perish? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, for those who have taqwa, there are gardens with their Lord underneath which rivers flow. Therein is their eternal home. They shall remain in it forever and ever and will not want to be removed from it. And azwajin mutatahara, and wives, purified mates or wives or spouses. And Allah will be pleased with them. Uridwan min Allah. Uridan min Allahi akbar. But the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is better. And that's another ayah. Ahabati fillah. These ayat, they show us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has pleasure, tabarak wa ta'ala. And Allah azza wa jal, His ridwan, His pleasure comes from people having taqwa, from fearing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if you fear Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, you can earn His pleasure, because that taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is following His commandments and avoiding His prohibitions. So again, Ahli Iman strives to gain more taqwa, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be reminded of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, to remind others and remind themselves in the practice worshipping Allah azza wa jal. And we ask Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, the Almighty, to accept our good and forgive our evil. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.